Oh, you got yours already?
Well, I had it on pre-order on Amazon, and I saw that Macy's one night had it in stock. So, can I tear this up? It is a pain to get the canopy open.
Which one is that?
That's all. That's the Mezco. I don't know if I would leave that rubber body in a sitting position.
Oh,
yeah, or too much actiony position.
I had a little bit of tinge of regret for not having ordered that figure.
I thought there was a button to pop the canopy. Son of a bitch. Son of a... Watch this.
Wow.
Hey, look at this feature I just found, everybody. There's a button right there.
Now, you did find the button that puts the armor shell on the outside of it, right?
You shut up. Did you find the grapple hook? You're all buttholes. It's just a button. Robo may not be able to handle new mask toys. Might have a button. If Robo was a Death Star cannon technician, Alderaan would still exist.
See, that's finding the positive. Of course, I dropped it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and the funny thing about the intro, as I was putting the Mezco Batman into that Batmobile, I was ribbing Todd about not putting his DC Multiverse Batman into that same Batmobile in the reveal video.
Takes a little bit to get him in there. I won't want to waste it on the video, but you can set him in here. He goes in.
Completely forgetting the fact that he demonstrated the button in that same video.
Then there's a button on here, right in the front, and if you press the button, it actually pops the cockpit open.
Honestly, for days, I had been prying this thing open with screwdrivers and pliers and stuff, trying to figure out how I'm going to paint this black to match the rest of the car, maybe lower the profile a little bit, do some customizing, something. The whole time thinking, man, that thing is tight as hell. Why'd they make that so hard to open? But that's okay. I still had fun. Everybody seemed to have their own fun in the live stream. And that's all that matters. Everybody having fun. And speaking of more fun, NECA closes out their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles April Takeover with a new version of their cartoon April. How many times did I just say April? April! I'm gonna shoot straight. I was never able to find the first version of April, so I never saw in my own hands what exactly was wrong, but from reading posts online, the body was small, the head was big, it was kind of out of scale with the turtles. This seems to balance all that out, but first glance, whoo, that neck just... But the animation was also fairly inconsistent as far as the looks of the turtles and April and Casey and everybody else. So the more I look at this, the more I'm kind of like, okay. So maybe missing out the first go around works in my favor. Not that I'm the most hardcore cartoon TMNT collector, but I mean, if you have the turtles, you gotta add April. I also missed out on Casey, so hopefully there's a second chance at him too. Hiya Toys had some 1/12 scale goodies to show off this week, following up their Exquisite Super First Blood Rambo with their Exquisite Super First Blood Part 2 Rambo. First Blood Part 2. Blood Firster. Again, like the first version, this looks to be a kick-ass Rambo with all the changes needed to make it First Blood Part 2 Rambo. Guns, more guns, rocket launcher, trademark knife, black clothing, and bow and arrows, both pointy and explodey. I think the three heads use the same faces as the first release because they seem to have the same expressions, just with new hair on top, longer. More Part 2-ish. I know I keep saying that, but I don't even mind because the likeness to Stallone is really nice. But the clothes do, again, come off slightly thick and seamy and stitchy, you know what I mean? It's just a little better hidden here because of the dark colors of the clothes. This also carries over the 6.3-inch height from the first figure, and Sly is actually 5'10". So there's that if it's a sticking point. Me, I guess it depends on the character when I want to get all super intense when it comes to heights. But for Rambo, I think of him as kind of larger than life. He's that big action hero. He can be a little taller. And as long as the two match, it doesn't really hurt my feelings. That wasn't all though. Hiya Toys also solicited their 1/12 scale Judge Dredd. And I'm on the fence. I should have expected the soft goods, especially after Rambo, and them both being Exquisite Super. I think that's the label they give to their deluxe type figures. So, my first impression was, whew, that is one shiny skin suit. Is he going deep sea diving? And that zipper is huge. But then I love the sculpted parts, the boots, the belt buckle, the badge, the big old shoulder armor, the heads. Kind of comes off like they sized those parts to the body before the suit was on it. They come off kind of small, on top of the body itself being limmy. You know, long arms, long legs. And then get stylized down at the boot with the big old toe. And while we're there, might as well point it out, is there any ankle articulation? Or is that a soft rubber piece? I don't know. They don't really get into action-y type poses. It's just here, here, and here, and kind of leaning around. Basically, I like it in the mood lighting scene shots, but you get it into the studio with the bright lights and white background, it really emphasizes a lot of things that I don't like about it. But if you're liking it and also need Rambo, $90, both are set to release at the end of this year. McFarlane Toys continues their slow trickle towards that flood that we all know is about to happen with the reveal of their 7-inch page punchers Batman Fighting the Frozen Wave, Fear Mr. Freeze Wave, something. I haven't actually figured out why these aren't branded DC Multiverse when it's the same size and articulation scheme. Sculpt-wise, they're based off the included comic, and I guess that's where they draw the line. Hey, this ain't DC Multiverse, this is something original. But if you're wanting to add some Caveman Bat Family and a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea Mr. Freeze to your DC Multiverse shelf, but if you're more traditional in your wants and needs, there's also the DC Multiverse New 52 Captain Atom, who just so happens to look like your classic Captain Atom, with trigger fingers. Hopefully there's another energy effect like the right hand that'll cover up the left. That way you, instead of, where's my guns? Between this and some DC Multiverse that's already been released, Todd's building a respectable JLI, and I know some people that are very happy about that. But Walmart exclusive, so get ready to stress a little bit. Unless you're in an area that regularly stocks the gold label, like mine. I was just cruising through the toy aisle the other day, and there was the Walmart exclusive Beast Boy. Just hanging out on the pegs. But I realize that is definitely not the case everywhere. So, again, Walmart exclusive, do what you gotta do. Okay, we talked about this month's Medicom MAFEX offerings last week when it was just pictures and no info. So we're swinging back around for a little more clarification. The Justice League Aquaman is not listed as a re-release. It's been rebranded as Zack Snyder's Justice League Aquaman. Although they do state that there are 3 newly sculpted heads, which is admitting to this being a re-release without actually calling it a re-release. And even then, I still think that the neutral and open mouth angry heads are reuse of the Aquaman movie Aquaman heads, just with the Justice League hairpiece adapted to fit, and much, much better paint apps. The gritting teeth angry head may be tweaked from the original version, or it may be the angle, but it's still a similar expression. For the body and accessories though, I am 99% sure that those are rehash. Oddly though, the release date is listed as April 2024, a month behind their newly solicited Star Wars Mandalorian Ahsoka Tano. That's scheduled for March, and that is a completely new sculpt. Do the math, already have most of this body produced, add some new parts, it's gonna take longer than this, maybe. Who knows? Not much else to say that I didn't already say last week, except when I was throwing down my pre-orders for this and the Bo-Katan, I remembered that the MAFEX Star Wars offerings can skew larger than the true 1/12 scale of your Bandai's or your Black Series. A lot of the time I don't mind. The droids fit, I make the Fets fit. You have your larger villains like Vader and Kylo, those go in the main display. Then figures like Rey and Finn really stood out because they're human characters. They have their faces showing, and you put those beside actual 1/12 scale figures, and it kind of, wait a second, there's something going on there. But that's been a while because with their Mando, that fits right in. It's the exact same size as other Mandos from other companies. So I'm rolling the dice based on how good both Bo-Katan and Ahsoka look. But then there was also Rogue One Darth Vader, and he is listed as a re-release. He's got an earlier release date, which again doesn't make sense considering Aquaman. Oh, he's got a new saber effect. We discussed how they mixed in solicitation pictures from the original Rogue One Vader in with these. You can tell because of the blackness to the lenses, whereas the new pictures have redness in that spot. Now that we have the official pre-orders for this new version of Rogue One Vader, they doubled down and added another picture from however many years ago it's been. Again, the new pics better convey how that original Rogue One Vader looked in our hands. So if you're considering this, look at the pictures with the red lenses, not the black ones. I believe both are the same sculpt. One is just more prototypey, the other is more production. Medicom does what Medicom does. If you want any of these, links are in the description. Then there's Hasbro's Star Wars Black Series, who's been on kind of a streak the past few weeks. A good streak. Lots of plastic that I want to see in my display. This week it's the Mandalorian Fleet Commander, and yes, last week StarWars.com did kind of blow this surprise, but pre-orders. New pictures, more to look at. It is, in fact, the Death Watch body, and according to the Hasbro team, they did this on purpose so they could swap out armor bits or move things around, make the different Mandalorians, and that works because in the shows, in the movies, we see that they are kind of interchangeable. They have the same base look that makes them Mandalorian, but then they have their unique armor bits, or different positions for other people's armor bits. I'm running out of different ways of saying, hey, they can just mix and match and make new Mandos. The thing that caught me here is the metallicness of the blues against the light gray, the dark bodysuit, and then the white on the front of the helmet. It's a nice color scheme that pops in different places. And then, of course, the likeness on the unmasked head just seals the deal. $25 set to release at the first of next year. Also notice that Hasbro hasn't been showing any package shots for their last few reveals. Does that mean these may be our first return of window packaging? Are they working up something new? Or they just want to keep it a surprise for the whole wave reveal? Or are there pictures on these packages that spoils the rest of the figures in a wave? Because I've lost track of who's in what wave. Just give me toys. Speaking of new toys, next week is May the 4th, and they have announced that there will be a fan stream. So hopefully they can keep this streak alive. More unique characters or looks at some of the pipeline stuff that gives us different characters for the shelf. Don't waste May the 4th on carbonized and rehash. Come on now. Flipping over to Hasbro Marvel Legends, like we've seen recently, there's a solicitation for something we already knew about, and then a reveal of something that will be a future pre-order. So it's kind of, here's this, and then look forward to this, and then here's this, and look forward to this. I see your formula. Because yeah, we'd already seen the Avengers 60th Anniversary Cersei and Black Knight set. This is just confirmation that yes, that is Courtney Cox in superhero action figure form. There is no denying this. And I'm not even one to get into the whole, oh, that kind of looks like a celebrity because of the hair or the nose or some distant resemblance. No, that is Courtney Cox. Why not? Because this set is so 90s it hurts. You have your fly around hair. There's the standard issue leather jackets that all the Marvel teams were handing out in that decade. There's Black Knight's laser sword. There's buckles. Why not give Cersei a little friend's flair? And while I'm not a big fan of this era, I gravitate towards this Black Knight because it kind of pulls him out of the realm of Dungeons and Dragons. You know what I mean? Less just knight look, more 90s. And I just said, I don't even care for this era. Oh, I know what it is. It takes away the cape. It streamlines the silhouette. Makes him kind of more, how is it making him more gritty? For Cersei, even before they revealed this figure, I was a bigger fan of this look than her classic green swimsuit. It is just more dynamic. And no, it's not just because of the leather jacket. It's the reds and the blacks and the hair and everything. $50 set to release in August, but these days you just can't tell with Hasbro, can you? Pre-orders could be available that day, or in a week, a month, or even a year. I'll be there for you. Like I said, there's also something new ish. Here is Joe Fixit, looking like a lot of us was hoping for when they revealed the Gamerverse Build-A-Figure. It was a nice stand-in at the time, but this is so much better. It reuses the same body, but it's got pinstripes, and I know it's a little detail, but it just, hello, Joe Fixit. And then, of course, there's the comic-accurate heads, along with a much nicer fedora on top. The Gamerverse one was just like a flat brim. This one's like, I care for my headwear, and I'm gonna get it looking the coolest I can get it looking. And with those new heads being slightly larger, it fixes the proportion problem I had with that Gamerverse version. That head looks small. This one, evens it out a little bit, makes it look like that head is supposed to be on that body, which I'm guessing was always the plan. But see, the cops agree. They're, yeah, new Joe Fixit. But the suit is blue. You know what that means. Walmart exclusive. Like we just talked about with Captain Atom, those can be a pain in the ass. Even more so when it comes to Hasbro for some reason. All we can do is try to get our pre-orders in, hope they don't cancel them, but if they do, just haunt the toy aisles a year later after the actual release date, because they may pop up, they may not pop up. Meantime, I think I'll finally take that Build-A-Figure and make it into Roughhouse, add to the Wolverine display. Then I'll need Bloodscream. And then I'm not sure if I ever got that retro-carded Madripoor pantyhose mask Wolverine. I may have to search the piles or go back and get that, because if I'm building that display, I might as well add him too. But you know what that swings all the way back into? Can Joe Fixit be reused for a White Tux Hulk? And then we get a patch with the proper proportions in his White Tux? That'd make a hell of a 2-pack. It would be beautiful. Speaking of the Marvel Universe, Bandai decided to jump on some of that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 hype by revealing their Star-Lord and Rocket 2-pack. And really, why wouldn't they? Because these are the two highest profile characters when it comes to action figures, along with Groot. When it comes to movie accuracy, I do like that Figuarts went with more muted colors compared to the Legends versions. Hasbro went with a bright blue and bright red, which makes me want to kind of customize those into comic book versions, print up some new heads, some new parts, put them on there, make that team, and then do I want to go Figuarts with the actual Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Or are they making this Star-Lord the same size as their previous one, which does come off a bit small, even with other SHF? Then with Rocket, it's hard not to think of him as a pack in here, because while he has some articulation, again, compared to the previous version, I think it was Infinity War, they've taken away the ankles, the knees, and the elbows. Granted, that first version was a pain in the ass to pose around because of tiny little limbs and joints and that tail sticking off that you always had to use as a tripod to make it stand up. I do like that they molded the guns into the trigger finger hands. At least that's a little less chance of it falling into the depths of Carpet Monster Land. Even though with the hand attached, if you're swapping them out, it's still a tiny, tiny piece because little rocket hands. Oh. Your own peril. But then Quill comes with two styles of blaster that I guess comes along in the new movie. There's the Brave Star neutral lasers, and then there's another set without the infrared sensor on bottom. Oh, but that's not all. Remember that SH Figuarts Spider-Man No Way Home Green Goblin that they displayed at a convention a while back? Feast your eyes. Not only are they releasing the figure, they're also throwing in an unmasked Norman Osborn head. That is a surprise. And I say it like that because there's so much will they, won't they when it comes to figures based on the Spider-Man movies. Here's a Tom Holland head that we can't actually show you until it's approved. And here is a Tobey Maguire. Oh, did you want Andrew Garfield? Here's him too. Then we'll swing back, give you more Tobey Maguire. But at the same time, sorry, we can't do the Andrew Garfield unmasked heads for whatever reason. So to see this at this moment in time, that's pretty cool. Let's enjoy this while we have it. As much as I love the sheen of the green and the purple accents and the deluxe looking glider that does things, it folds down, you got your pumpkin bomb hands, and it just looks like a fantastic action figure of Green Goblin. I do have one gripe. You produce a Willem Dafoe head in plastic form And this is the expression you go with. Out of all the contorted, goblin-like facial features he pulls off, after all the heart and soul he pours into a character that could come off as silly, but he makes it just downright menacing, this is what you go for. He just comes off as kind of bored or having a normal conversation with somebody. You know, I'm something of an action figure myself. Otherwise, again, amazing looking action figure. As I'm recording this, I don't have any links to pre-orders for either of these, but if I see something before this actually goes live, I'll put them in the description. And that's all I got for this week. But swinging back around to Medicom, whoo, you done me dirty this month. We all expect at this point that MAFEX releases are going to get pushed back. They're going to get rescheduled. And the fear's always been that it's going to bottleneck, and 1 month they're going to hit us with a lot of stuff. And it seems like that's happened a couple times, but it was spaced throughout the month, and it was never the same property, the same franchise. So speaking for myself, it was like, oh yeah, these 2 figures are coming out in this month, but I don't have to worry about the rest because I'm not collecting those. This week, though, they made the announcement that Jim Lee X-Men Storm and X-Factor Cyclops and X-Force Wolverine and X-Force Deadpool would all be releasing before the end of this month. This is the last week of this month. Again, we never know when MAFEX figures are going to drop, so I don't pre-order them together. That way, when one releases, I can ship it, instead of it waiting on a pre-order that may drop months after it. Thankfully, when I jumped on AmiAmi, I was able to combine the orders that are releasing this week. That way, I don't have to pay individual DHL shipping costs on each one. It was still a hell of an invoice this morning, though, when everything came into stock. I saw that and I was like, what's the conversion rate right now? Thankfully, it's still in our favor if you're in the States, but it was still a chunk of change. So I've spent so long griping that Medicom, you have to get on a schedule. You have to release stuff. Quit pushing stuff back. This week it was like, whoa, slow down, easy. Well, okay, I guess I don't have any choice in this matter, do I? Because really, I'm happy to be getting those figures. It's 4 at the same time. I may have to do some kind of MAFEX play day or something. I don't know why I got Storm, though. She's in the wrong color, because in the comics, that costume's black. It's not white, it's not silver, it was shiny black. And if you want to say otherwise in the comment section, I'll catch you on the Fwoosh. Oh, tripping over stuff. I gotta clean this room.